Wow. Talk about a statement win. Barcelona, they just blew past Alavés.
Yeah.
3-0. I mean, they are looking unstoppable. And we're going to dig into exactly how they pulled that off today. Don't worry, if you don't live and breathe soccer, we're pulling out the coolest details, right?
Absolutely. And I think the way Barcelona started, it's like a master class in how fast things can change in this sport. I mean, just those first few minutes, you've got a disallowed goal, an almost goal, and then Ferran Torres goes down injured.
Oh, man, it was like someone just hit fast forward right from the kickoff. But here's the thing. It wasn't just chaos, right? It was Barcelona's intensity. That early pressure, it forced Alavés to completely toss their game plan and figure it out as they went.
Exactly. I mean, you can prepare for a certain type of game. But when a team comes at you, like full throttle, right from the first whistle, you got to adapt. And that's not easy to do, especially against a team with the talent that Barcelona has. And that's where it gets interesting tactically, because Alavés scrambling like that, trying to adjust, it played right into Barcelona's hands.
It's like they were on their heels the whole time, just trying to keep up. And speaking of keeping up, Robert Lewandowski. This guy, he was on another level, a first-half hat-trick. We're looking at some of these goals you sent over. And it's not just, the skill. It's the strategy behind them.
Absolutely. That first goal, that header, off that Rafinha cross, it looks like a pretty standard play, right? But it's textbook. How to use the space inside the box. Lewandowski, he wasn't just in the right spot at the right time. He moved to create that space, knowing where the ball was going, how the defense would react.
So it's like it's chess, not just, brute force. He's thinking several moves ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And that second goal, another one, assisted by Rafinha. But watch Lewandowski's run. He draws in like two defenders, opens up that gap in the defense, knows Rafinha's going to see it. Boom, another goal.
It is incredible to watch those plays, knowing how much awareness is happening, how much coordination. And then that third goal, it almost felt inevitable at that point, didn't it? It's
Yeah.
like Alavés was still trying to figure out how to contain him, and bam, right in the corner.
And that right there is Barcelona's plan coming together. I mean, Alavés, got to give them credit. They were pressing high, trying to win the ball back quickly. But a high press, it's risky. If you don't win it back fast, you leave these gaps at the back. And Barcelona, especially with a striker like Lewandowski, they are masters at exploiting that space. So, yeah, each goal was amazing on its own, but it all came from that strategy working perfectly.
Yeah, it wasn't just luck. It was calculated risk, and Barcelona made them pay. But that second half, things got a little different. Yeah, like the whole feeling shifted a bit. Yeah, Alavés, they came out swinging, right? Couple of near misses. That shot that like almost broke the post. It felt like for a minute there, Barcelona was on the ropes. Really had to dig deep.
Yeah, the whole vibe changed. Alavés, at that point they got to go for it. So they start taking more risks, pushing more players forward, and it's almost like by trying to shut down Barcelona's attack in the first half, they kind of accidentally set the stage for that second half push.
Yeah, I bet. I can only imagine what's going through the minds of those Barcelona players, right?
Yeah.
Like one minute you're in control, and then suddenly you're fighting just to hold on. Talk about a pressure cooker.
Oh, for sure. And that's where you see what a team is really made of, What do? They adjust. So Barcelona, they go from this kind of beautiful free-flowing attack to this more disciplined defensive shape, just absorbing the pressure, slowing the game down, relying on honestly tactical discipline.
Right, and speaking of tactical discipline, that offside trap, man, it was like a high wire act every time Alavés got close. I know we touched on this earlier, but can you break it down? Like, how does this offside trap actually work, and why is it such a risky move to use when you're already winning?
Okay, so picture this. You're an attacker, right? Ball's played over the top. You're one-on-one with the keeper. This is your chance. But just as you're about to take, the shot flag goes up. Offside. That's the offside trap. It's all about timing. So when it's done right, the whole defensive line, they move forward together just as that pass is played, and they're playing this attacker's offside.
So it's like they just disappear, at least for the ref.
Exactly. But like anything that precise, it requires perfection. If one defender is even a little bit off, they even hesitate for a second, whole thing falls apart.
And we saw it almost happen a couple of times, right? I mean, Alavés had 2 goals called back because of that offside trap. The tension in the stadium, every time they even got close to scoring.
And I think that's what's so interesting about this Barcelona team with Hansi Flick. They're not afraid of a little risk. They trust their system, they trust each other, and that trust is what lets them pull off something as as kind of crazy as that offside trap.
It's working, that's for sure. I mean, this game, it really showed us everything we've seen from them all season. Like they can dominate possession, no problem. They can score goals like it's nothing. But they can also grind out a result when they have to, even if it means living a little dangerously in those final minutes.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what, I don't know, that's what separates the good teams from the great teams. You know, that ability to adapt to win in different ways. Barcelona under Flick, they've shown us they can win pretty, but they can also win, well, let's just say not so pretty, if that's what the game demands.
Okay, so we've definitely established Barcelona is looking strong. Very, very strong. But what does it all mean, really? Can they keep this up?
Well, that is the question, isn't it? I mean, every team, they have weaknesses. It's just a matter of time until the other teams, they figure it out, you know? I mean, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, they're going to be studying Barcelona, trying to find those cracks.
And what about, like, the mental side of things? Can Barcelona keep up this intensity, that focus, over 38 games, plus Champions League? That's a lot.
Right, exactly. Injuries happen, suspensions, players lose form. And like you said, that pressure of being at the top, the team to beat week in, week out, can wear a team down.
It's more than just what you do on the field, right? It's about, like, can you handle the pressure, that mental toughness? Barcelona's got it, that's for sure. But can they, like, bottle that up and keep it going all season? What do you think?
You know, I think it goes back to something we talked about earlier. Barcelona's, it's like, they're adaptable. They've shown us they can win, in so many different ways. I mean, beautiful, free-flowing soccer, sure, but also these gritty defensive battles. And then, you know, like we saw today, just tactical masterclasses, like that offside trap. It makes them really hard to predict.
Dangerous. Yeah, like they've always got a backup plan. Maybe even 2 backup plans. But speaking of that offside trap, it works. But as you said, risky. Do you think as the season goes on, other teams will figure it out, like find a way to counter it?
Oh, I'm sure they'll try. It'll be interesting to see how teams adjust, you know, facing Barcelona. We might see more of those quick, incisive passes, trying to unlock that high line, or maybe more runs from deep, trying to catch them off guard. You know, every move has a counter move in this sport. So yeah, I think we'll definitely see some new strategies pop up as teams try to solve the Barcelona puzzle.
That's what I love about it. It's like a chess match, you know, right there on the field. But speaking of strategy, that brings us back to the mastermind behind all this, right? Hansi Flick. We said this game, it was like a perfect example of their season so far, but it also tells us a lot about how Flick sees the game. What are your thoughts on his style, his philosophy?
I think the fascinating thing about Flick, it's not just the tactics, it's the mindset he gets his players into. You watch Barcelona under him, and there's just this confidence, this belief that they are in control, you know, that they dictate how the game goes. And the offside trap, I mean, that's a perfect example. It's bold. It's basically saying, we're calling the shots here, even on defense.
I love that. It's not just about the win. It's about how you do it, right? Yeah. The message you send. And this Barcelona team, they are not lacking in confidence, that's for sure. It's amazing to watch.
Totally. Playing with a purpose. It makes them a force to be reckoned with. But, as we've been saying, staying on top, it's not easy. There will be bumps in the road. The question is, how will they handle it? How do they adapt? How do they come back even stronger? That's what we'll be watching.
Yeah, it's going to be a season to remember, that's for sure. I'm kind of buzzing just thinking about it. Thanks again for breaking it all down with us. I always learn so much from these conversations.
Glad to be here. Always fun talking about, you know, the beautiful game.
And for everyone listening, make sure to keep an eye on Barcelona, because this is a team that's not content with just winning. They're changing the game. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep that love for the beautiful game alive.